San Antonio and watch you lose your money at the table. I didn't leave my home to get stuck here in your arms. I wouldn't trade my prison for a cradle. I will go where I send me until the road rise and meet me with a heart about these stables. I'm a free girl, I'll travel where I'm able. The breeze through the fences is the wild breath of Texas. No man's ever shoot her, foot her, led her by a bridle. Your saddle made of leather, and your silver spurs a jangle. She's a free girl and she'll travel where she's able. Now we'll go where I send me until the road rise and meet me with a heart about these stables. I'm a free girl, I'll travel where I'm able.
Hey, welcome everybody to the Two-Way Street Virtual Coffee House. I'm having coffee as we speak. My name is John. I'll be your host tonight. Two-Way Street Coffee House has been presenting live music for over 50 years. I haven't been here that whole time. But due to the COVID arrangement, we went to this virtual format. But good news, if you were paying attention to the promo up front, you saw that we are having a grand reopening in the coffee house, God willing, on September the 10th. But tonight we have coming to us from Minnesota, we have Curtis and Loretta, and they are longtime people. They've played at the coffee house, many times. I've seen them here, there, and anywhere. But I'm laughing at my own jokes. So we are virtual through the end of August. So we are getting to that point. And at that point, we're going to go hybrid with in-house coffee house. And we just are setting up a camera at the coffee house for those who could want to join us still virtually. So we'll be hybrid. Like I said, that starts September the 10th. Looking at my notes here. Anyways, there's no performance fee. There's no guy at the door. There's no ticket to buy. These guys are playing strictly for your donations. So, please be as generous as you can to help support music. And if your heart desires to contribute, like I say, please be generous. We use PayPal for your kind donations. And you can go to, as it says at the bottom of the screen, donate at the twowaystreet.org website. There's a red button there that says donate for the artist. And so we gather all of your donations and then pass them on to Curtis and Loretta. And so you say to yourself, I'm not sure, I don't have a PayPal account. Well, not to worry, because you can use a debit or a credit card with PayPal. And I always say it's pretty simple, because even I know how to do that. So with that, let's go ahead and bring in Curtis and Loretta. Take it away, guys.
Hey, thank you. Thanks, John. Nice to see everybody out there in,
all right.
Well, I was going to say Chicagoland, but really could be people across the world, across the globe. Could be anywhere. So how exciting. We love that. We're gonna play a lot of different instruments tonight. We'll start out with the folk harp or the Celtic harp and the mandocello.
It's been a great joy to play with you folks all these years at the Two-Way. And It's a beautiful room. If you've never been there, I think you'd do well to go out and give it a try. And the coffee is great. But tonight we have the people, the best part anyway. So we'll start out with a new Loretta song. This was kind of happened during this last year or so. I think it has a good sentiment for what we've all been through.
It's called Lift the World. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All my gold may slip away and my karma come to pay. I might just wake up someday and see the bit part that I play. But when that day is all through, nothing more that I can do. One thing I have learned is true, I turn, and there it's always you. You lift the world from my shoulders, spin it gently, turn it over. You set it down out of the way. Just like a dream, the world fades away. Just like a dream, the world fades away. I may travel near and far, sail the seas to Zanzibar. I might just walk out the door and be content in my backyard. But when the miles are said and done, when the races are all run, I meet you in the setting sun, and from there we walk as one. You lift the world from my shoulders, spin it gently, turn it over. You set it down out of the way. Just like a dream, the world fades away. Just like a dream, the world fades away. Trials may come to torment me, break right in without a key. They may all demand to be my eternal destiny. But when the worries and the cares get too much for me to bear, you look each one in the eyes just like that. You cut them down to size. You lift the world from my shoulders, spin it gently, turn it over. You set it down out of the way. Just like a dream, the world fades away. 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 A live fade out.
Well, we have this Loretta concept on our last recording, biographical ballads. Now, most ballads are biographical, but this was really a great thing to do, to find somebody that you think is truly worth writing a song about, their experiences, and then going and interviewing them and then writing the song and then taking it back to them and tweaking it together and then turning it into a song. So we'll probably do a couple of those tonight. And this is off that album, though you didn't really have to do much of an interview for this one.
Yeah. I interviewed all the people except, well, I interviewed them many times over the years because this is a love song for my parents. Curtis, you're Curtis, my husband. My parents, Cletus and Mildred. And I had heard their story of how they met and fell in love many, many times over the years.
Yeah, and so she says it's a love song about her parents, but, I heard it the first time. I said, "Well, that's a song about scandalous marriage." You know.
Well, there was some
There was
scandal
some
involved.
Scandal. I mean, scandal has surrounded marriage for hundreds of years. You know, Romeo and Juliet. In the 1960s, it was interracial marriage, and we have our issues we're dealing with nowadays. But in the 1940s, we can say this, can't we? In the 1940s, brace yourselves, a Catholic married a Lutheran.
It was a big deal. Some of you probably remember that way back. It was called a mixed marriage, and it was frowned on by many people. Besides the religion difference, my mother was 21, my dad was 38, just back from World War II.
She was from little Scandia, a little Swedish town with no plumbing and really no English. He was from the big city of Stillwater.
Yeah, by maybe 5,000 people back then. And he had a little bit of money because he'd had a business before the war. So there was all these things, and a lot of people said, that'll never work. Too many differences. Yeah. But I'm glad it did. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Love has a tendency to persevere. So here's their song.
It's called On the Day They Said I Do. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Raised right there in town, up the hill south of downtown. Nice brick house with plumbing too. His family had it built brand new. Catholic college businessman, in every way a gentleman. He crossed the sea in 44, courtesy of the World War. Swedish girl with quiet charm. She was born up on the farm, light brown hair and eyes of blue. Sang in a Lutheran choir too. She filled the lamps with kerosene, milked the cows, cooked and cleaned. She finished school in 44. She worked the fields and dreamed of more. Some said yes, some said no. She's too young, he's too old. City boy and country girl, different churches, different worlds. But on the day they said I do, they only heard I love you. Near Thanksgiving 45, he came home thankful he was alive. His 5 and dime closed by the war, so he worked at a Reed's drugstore. She'd moved to town in the spring. The hospital had an opening for room and board and a little more. She passed trays up on the floors. She went into Reed's one day. He waited on her when she paid. As she walked away across Main, he stole a glance back his way. He was standing in the door to see if she was headed for. She looked down and walked away, but they knew it was their first day. Some said yes, some said no. She's too young, he's too old. City boy and country girl, different churches, different worlds. But on the day they said I do, they only heard I love you. She was in the Grand Cafe when he came in one autumn day. They shared a booth, brown eyes and blue. Then he walked her back to the hospital. He took her to the matinee the very next Saturday. Suit and tie, yellow dress, they both wore their very Christmas Eve in gentle snow, he showed up laughing, ho ho ho. Bottle of perfume in hand, would she take him as a man? On a cold and wintry day, the sun shone on their wedding day. For 50 years through thick and thin, they shared one path till God called him. Some said yes, some said no. She's too young, he's too old. City boy and country girl, different churches, different world. But on the day they said I do, they only heard I love you. I love you. I love you.
I love you.
Cletus and Mildred.
Well, tomorrow we're heading to play a rendezvous up in northern Minnesota. We'll have our 18th and 19th century outfits on and delve into some historical ballads. But we're gonna do one of those now. I've really enjoyed this song the last couple of years because we were trying to find something political that everybody could agree on. What do they call that? It's
Bipartisan.
a bipartisan political
Oh man,
song.
that's hard to
indeed.
find these days.
And this is a great song, old song for joining Illinois and Minnesota together too, because now there's a town called Hutchinson, Minnesota, and it was founded in 1855 by the Hutchinson family, who were one of the most famous acts in the United States at the time. Singing with Swiss families were the big deal then, and but they were radicals. I've read like press releases about their concerts, and people would go see them. They would say, "Oh well, they'll probably sing that song, My Darling Nellie Gray, the anthem of the abolitionists, and or something." But people would tolerate a few radical songs, and I really enjoy studying the radicals of the 1800s. I mean, like they were totally idealistic revolutionaries of the time. They were into things like labor reforms, like they were trying to get the 6-day 10-hour work day.
Yeah, and women's rights, crazy stuff like equality for women.
Yeah, of course they were abolitionists and such as that. But Jesse Hutchinson wrote this song in 1860, I believe.
And it's a campaign song for Lincoln.
Lincoln's campaign song. So this is for all you suckers there in Illinois.
We should explain that because it talks about the states he lived in Indiana, the Hoosiers, and also Illinois, and it talks about the suckers. But in this instance, it's a good thing. Maybe you folks there in Illinois have heard of this. One theory is that in the town of Galena, there were so many men walking to and from the mines to work at the beginning and end of the day that they look like fish swimming upstream or suckers. So it's just a nice, friendly.
It means there's a
It means
lot of
it's
you
good. It's a good
coming out to do what had to be done. Lincoln and Liberty. Hurrah for the choice of the nation, our heroes so brave and so true. We'll go for the great Reformation, for Lincoln and liberty too. We'll go for the son of Kentucky, the hero of Hoosierdom through. The pride of the suckers so lucky, for Lincoln and liberty too. We'll find what by felling and mauling our realm maker statesmen can do. For the people are everywhere calling for Lincoln and liberty too. And up with the banners so glorious, star-spangled and white and blue. We'll fight till our banner's victorious for Lincoln and liberty too. Our David's good sling is unerring, the slave oppressed giant he slew. We'll shout for the freedom, preferring for Lincoln and liberty too. We'll go for the son of Kentucky, the hero of Hoosierdom through. The pride of the suckers so lucky, for Lincoln and liberty too. And up with the banner so glorious, the star-spangled and white and blue. We'll fight till our banner's victorious, for Lincoln and liberty too. For Lincoln and liberty too.
Vote Lincoln. If only we could. Well, I was looking at some of the comments on there, and thank you all for listening and putting comments on there. And hi to Judy. My friend Judy's way out in Maine. She's a Minnesota native, but I don't know. Maybe there's people listening from even farther. Who knows? So should we do a couple more on the harp?
Sure.
All right. You got to be careful with harp because it's relaxing and it's too early in the evening to fall asleep, so we don't want to do that. But should we do a sing-along?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's do that. Yeah, we're going to trust that you're singing. We won't be able to hear you, but
Yeah, we've
We'll
ordered
trust you.
technology so that we can actually
we can spy through
we
our
can spy on you and we can tell if you're singing along. or not.
we're not
Not.
that high tech at all. If it's even
Boy,
possible.
Not at all.
Okay, so I'm flipping some levers. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. This is a folk harp or a Celtic harp, and to get in different keys, I have these sharping levers. You raise those to sharp each string a half step. On a concert harp, the big ones that are made in Chicago, a lot of them at Lyon and Healy, they have pedals on the bottom, and that's how you change the keys on that. You sharp or flat each string a half step with the pedals. But I have no pedals, but my levers are in the right place.
And eventually we will teach you your part. You'll have to memorize it, and we're counting on you to sing it. Now, Loretta wrote this song, and she, at some point in time in her life when she realized the things she was complaining about were probably her own fault.
Yeah, I had to admit it one time.
Or did you write this song for me?
That was about me. It was a long time ago, and I kind of felt guilty for a little bit there. So,
All right, we'll teach you your part.
yeah, here's your part. 1, 2, 3, 4. Na 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 na. This is part of it too. We got moose up in northern Minnesota, not here in Minneapolis, but you could do deer.
We'll
or
probably have
antelope.
moose within a month. It's like, man, it's amazing the urban wildlife we have now. They're just going, well, okay, you suckers, you're taking our property. We're just going to move on to yours.
Yeah.
Can't blame them.
We're right in the city. We have wild turkeys and foxes.
Coyotes and foxes and deer.
passing by every once in a
I
while.
don't know. But anyway, so remember your part. And if you do it with great vigor and feeling, it's a great release. It's very good. It's good for you. This song is good for you. So sing along. Are there any lawyers out there? We'll read our little thing in a while. We'd like to dedicate this to.
Oh yeah. Put your
yeah.
comment on there if you're an attorney or
Yeah.
a paralegal, law student. It's called, because this is one I wrote called "Somebody I Could Sue." 1, 2, 3, 4. Janie did it, don't blame me. I learned that when I was 3. I wouldn't play, she called me quitter. Made me so mad I had to hit her. This happens every single time. They should arrest you for this crime. You buy a gallon of ice cream, and I eat it till my thighs could scream. When you got no one to blame but yourself, oh, you'd sure like to pin it on somebody else. There must be somebody I could sue, somebody I could pass his buck. Na 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 na. He passed me going way too fast and cut me off, so I hit the gas. I stuck to him close as I could. He slowed down and smashed my hood. It's not my fault, don't look at me. What a stupid place to plant a tree. I just backed up, what can I say? It was standing right there in my way.
When you got no one to blame but yourself,
Oh, you'd sure like to pin it on somebody else. There must be somebody I could sue, somebody I could pass this buck. Na 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 na. You do this to me all the time. Don't get your way and then you whine. So I get mad, don't talk for days. I'll show you, I'll make you pay. Why won't you just end this fight? Do it my way, do it right. You never listen to a word. I have to yell just to be heard. When you got no one to blame but yourself, oh, you'd sure like to pin it on somebody else. There must be somebody I could sue, or somebody I could pass this buck. Na 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 na. Call my lawyer, life's not fair. Where's my success? Where's my share? I'm stuck down in this endless rut because no one will pick me up. The world's got it in for me. I burned myself in hot coffee, lost my cash in Powerball, and how come you never call? When you got no one to blame but yourself, oh, you'd sure like to pin it on somebody else. There must be somebody I could sue, somebody I could pass this buck. Na 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 na. Somebody I could pass this buck. Na 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 na. I always feel better after that song. It's kind of like Greek catharsis, you know, in theater, where you get all these feelings out. But
Let's
I think
have
that's
another
usually
sing-along.
drama rather than comedy. But anyway, catharsis. Catharsis.
Is that that sword that's hanging on a hair?
Boy, I don't know.
The sword of
The sword of
damn
doom.
somebody. I don't know.
Boy, I don't know what he's talking about. Curtis is
Forget
from
it,
Texas,
forget it.
so he has a little problem with a few words like
Well,
catharsis.
chrysanthemum.
I should be careful, though. We may have people watching from Texas.
Well, yeah.
If you're out there from Texas, sorry, I'm not making fun of Texas. We love Texas. We have family down there still.
One thing I can say about Texas, you know, going to grade school there, they teach you how to, I call it, they taught you how to spell phonetically.
Instead of
I mean,
phonetically.
phonics in some states are not nearly as effective. It's like talk, T-A-W-K, talk. Just sound it out. Just sound it out.
Sound it
Walk, W-A-W-K.
Walk. And then you change the Earl in your car, right? Boy, you know, somebody's going to start putting in the comments about our Minnesota accent. And
Oh,
we
no.
deserve it. We do.
don't talk like
We
that.
know we have an accent like the movie Fargo. We know it. We know it. We can't help it, though.
What's that? We have battery and gas in your car?
Oh,
Hybrid.
we're
I'm
hybrid.
I'm a hybrid now.
Yeah, you're a hybrid.
Yeah, y'all.
Yeah. All right. So
Another sing-along.
Yeah, let's do one more on the harp, and then we'll change instruments here.
Sing this one with us. This is a good time in history to sing this song. This is a song that was a collaboration between Pete Seeger and King Solomon.
Yeah.
So we'll cover
Boy,
this song for you
along
here.
many years apart. But that happened because Pete Seeger got most of the words from the Bible, from the book of Ecclesiastes. But probably a lot of you remember this. It was on the top of the hit parade, 1965. It was a big hit by the Byrds.
And just playing this, the times we've been able to actually go out and play for people, just in the recently has just had a really nice vibe, and people have sung it, and I think it does something important. It's a good song to sing right now.
Judy says she's singing along. And it's a good thing she's there alone, so no one has to hear it.
All
Judy,
you
you're a good
Judys out there,
singer.
we're counting on you.
Here we go.
Get a choir of Judys going, and we'll be good.
To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. Time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to hear, a time to laugh, a time to weep. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven.
A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together.
Help us out now.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven.
A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven.
A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time of love, a time of hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late.
One more time, help us out.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. And a time to every purpose under heaven.
Ah, thanks.
Oh yeah, thanks for singing. Well, I'm going to set the harp
Aside,
Put
yes,
the levers.
indeed.
When you learn harp, we first take lessons. One of the first things you learn is always put your levers down when you're done. So I'm being a good harp player, putting those
Things
down.
like 4, right?
3.
3.
We should always play in the same key. Key
She
of
wrote me this song.
key
It's
of
in the
3.
Key of 3.
Key of 3. K chord on 3, 3rd fret.
So
I'll let you tell 'em about it
someday
my
when I get even more desirable, she'll probably write me one on the key of 4. So I wrote Loretta all these embarrassing, mushy songs. Wrote a song as a proposal of marriage, and this was all like 40 years ago when we first met. And so she waited like about 39 years, and then she wrote me a song.
I did. I finally wrote him a love song, and it was inspired by. Now Curtis is going to tell you what inspired him. It's called Santa Claus on Halloween.
Inspired by high fashion. But you see, I mean, I'm dedicating this song to all of you thrift store treasure hunters out there, okay? I mean, thrift stores, it's the ultimate in recycling. You know, we're doing our bit, and it's a fun place to hunt for treasures. And around Halloween, they save all their really interesting textiles and clothing and such, you know, and they put it right in the middle of the stores a lot of times. And I think the concept is that you can create your own individual Halloween costume. Now, I find just things that I like to wear every day, of course. So I shop a lot around Halloween. One year I found an absolutely top-of-the-line professional 1940s big department store Santa Claus outfit. And I grabbed it, and we live on a hill here in northeast Minneapolis, and we have 2 tiers of steps coming up to our little front stoop. So on Halloween night, I got out my biggest stuffed chair, and I put all of our candy in a white canvas laundry sack. And I sat out there on Halloween night, and little children would tear up that first set of steps, you know, with their bags and their buckets held out, you know, and they would come on that first level spot, and they look up and they see me, and it was great. Their eyes would get big and their jaws would drop, and they would come up that next step of stairs with like utter awe and reverence, you know, and they'd come in to my presents, and I'd look at them before they could even say trick or treat. I would say, well, have you been good this year? And they were really truthful. Every one of them said, well, not the whole time, not all the time. And so I said, well, you know, the truth is worth a whole handful of candy. And you still got plenty of time till Christmas, you know, so you can pull this thing off still. There's time.
I think I'm pretty good. He was
Is it good enough for Halloween?
Yeah, good enough for a Halloween song. I was reading the comments, and hi to my high school friend, Ann Heimerman Anderson, and I think she lives in Ohio, though she grew up, or, you know, we knew each other in Stillwater, Minnesota, my hometown. And she said she can't get any sound. So, Ann, if you're still there, I hope you got the sound to work. I couldn't help you because I'm not that high tech, so sorry. Hopefully somebody can help
Put your
you.
ear right up against the computer. That's what I'd try
I don't
first.
know. Anyway, this is Curtis's song.
Maybe kick it or no, don't do that. Don't do that.
What do you think about that, my guitar
I think
mic?
you're
Is that
good.
good enough?
I think you're good. I think that's gonna work. All right, this is my song. That's right.
Santa Claus on Halloween.
Oh, and just a public service announcement for those of you who are kind of high fashion like me and Santa Claus. You know, the little kids. If you try this, it's great fun, but the teenagers react totally differently. So, anyway, I
Yeah,
just
they
warned
thought he
you.
was nuts.
Drives that
pretty
on my
much.
mind.
Hold the chicken, hold the meat, just serve him up whole wheat. Never try to trim his beard, scissors are his only fear. He waits on me like I'm a queen, he's Santa Claus on Halloween. He's one of a kind, that boy of mine. The world pulls at us from all sides, but he stands strong, listening inside. He likes love and honesty. He'll stand by you, he'll stand by me. He's one of a kind, that boy of mine. They can keep their ivy halls and the mega shopping malls. The junk store is his favorite place. Hawaiian shirts and a tweed suitcase. He doesn't own a suit or tie except one from 1895. He's one of a kind, that boy of mine. The world pulls at us from all sides, but he stands strong, listening inside. He likes love and honesty. He'll stand by you, he'll stand by me. He's one of a kind, that boy of mine. Take it there, boy. He doesn't text, but he is wise. He hates long goodbyes. He likes when you say what you mean and don't chatter on like a talk machine. Fashion doesn't mean a thing. He can't dance, but he sure can sing. He's one of a kind, that boy of mine. The world pulls at us from all sides, but he stands strong, listening inside. He likes love and honesty. He'll stand by you, he'll stand by me. He's one of a kind, that boy of mine. He'd give you his last dime. He works hard all the time. He likes deals and bartering. That's how he got my wedding ring. He can fix up bar guitars, but not so much on a car. He's one of a kind, that boy of mine. The world pulls at us from all sides, but he stands strong, listening inside. He likes love and honesty. He'll stand by you, he'll stand by me. He's one of a kind, that one of a kind, that boy of mine. Oh, he's my rock, that boy of mine. There he is, there he is. It's hard to be humble.
Especially when you got a string out of tune, you know. Boy.
You got something out of
Makes
tune?
it all
Okay,
humble
well,
you
I'm going
right
to
there.
tell a secret that I probably shouldn't tell. Curtis and I played out at Mall of America last week. They're having concerts out there during the summer.
I don't know how they get all those youthful sopranos on that roller coaster.
Yeah, we were set up in the rotunda, but not too far from, I think it's called Nickelodeon Universe or something, where they have all the rides and stuff and people screaming. But it's so loud, but we had a good PA system and stuff. And so we were singing that song, and I got to that line about him not liking mega shopping malls, and I just went, but
We,
just,
looked at each other and
we
laughed.
just went, ah! But we just let it slide. We didn't talk about it anymore over that. What are we going to do? Oh, yeah. We're going to do another song off of our last CD, all the biographical ballads that Curtis was talking about. And this is a song about a woman named Christy Harding in Florida. And I heard about her, excuse me, I found these people all different ways that I wrote songs about. And I heard about her on the 10 o'clock news. I was watching the news one night, and it said this woman is flying up from Jacksonville, Florida, to donate a kidney to a little girl she had never met before, and she had found her and heard about her plight on Facebook, scrolling along one day. And so she got tested and found out she was a perfect match. The light went on in my head. I thought, man, what a song waiting to happen. So I just kind of watched the situation online to make sure everything went well. And eventually I contacted her and said, we're going to be in Florida doing concerts. Could we interview you and maybe write a song? And she said yes. So she's like one of my heroes now. We met at this coffee shop and I had this whole interview with her and wrote the song. And then with all these songs, I would write it and then send it to them and have them listen to it and make sure I got everything right. And she said, yep, it's all perfect. Some of the songs, people had little things to tweak. And so during the interview, this is something I asked everybody, every person I interviewed. I said, how did you get through it? What helped you get through this challenge or this big thing in your life? I said, how do you gather the courage to donate a kidney? She said, well, when there's good to be done, you got to do it. You don't wait for somebody else to get to it. So I was like writing, and I thought, oh, thank goodness I got that tape recorder going. I've got all this down because that was perfect. That became the title of her song and the chorus and the title of the CD itself.
Amazing lady.
Yeah. When there's good to be done. I got somebody.
Think about, I'm sure many of you are musicians. Think about if you have a note you're going to really use a lot. If it goes flat, you can kind of bend it while you're playing. But if it goes a little bit sharp, it's a lot harder to deal with.
Almost.
Actually, when she first talked to her about writing this song, she had just been on the national news a couple of weeks before, and she was kind of apprehensive about. She said, I don't know if I want any more publicity or not. She said, this is something I just did out of my heart, spontaneously. And she said, besides, if you write this song, you think it'll inspire people to, donate organs to people they don't know? And we said, yeah, probably not. And she said, and I'll say this now to all of you out there, that she said, well, maybe it'll at least remind people to check that box on their driver's license form.
The donor box.
Yeah.
So we promised her we would always mention that. And maybe she's even out there listening. If you are, hi, Christy. You are one of my all-time heroes. When there's good to be done. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. In a bright, sunny Florida home, Christy was online and she was there alone. A Minnesota girl caught her eye. Usually she'd scroll on by. Sick kids were too sad. Was it an angel that said don't pass? up the phone. And she said, when there's good to be done, you must do it. Can't wait for someone else to get to it. I knew it was God's plan, it'd see me through it. How could I say no when I could do it? She told her husband about the girl. If she was a Sarah, we would search the world. A battery of tests were begun up north for final ones. 6 months since that day, you're the perfect match, they called to say. She got back on that online page, sent a message to the mom, and she did say, I'm Christy, I'm honored to meet you. I have a 2-year-old too. I'm your girl's donor. And the mother could not find words. Christy said, when there's good to be done, you must do it. I can't wait for someone else to get to it. I knew it was God's plan, it'd see me through it. How could I say no when I could do it? On a bright Minnesota day, Christy woke up and she was feeling pain. The very first thing she did say, is Ariana okay? She gave life that day, and the purest joy was Christy's pay. And she said, when there's good to be done, you must do it. You can't wait for someone else to get to it. I knew it was God's plan, it'd see me through it. How could I say no when I could do it? When there's good to be done, we must do it. When there's good to be done, we must do it. When there's good to be done, we must do it.
Christy Harding.
Yeah, Christy.
We're so fortunate being folk musicians. We get to meet so many people traveling around. You know, really the concept of that last recording was, you know, you watch the news and it just seems like everything's going somewhere in a handbasket. But you know, you go out and you play music for people, and they'll let some people open up and talk to you where maybe otherwise they wouldn't, because you're in their town playing music. And you just, you just keep running into these amazing, heroic people you'll never hear about unless somebody just tells you about their friend that did this and survived that and helped out all these people. And, you know, it's...
That was really inspiring to me, to find all these people and to know that there's all kinds of more people. Every time we do a concert live and then talk to people afterwards, they'll tell us about a friend that did something or that something they did, and like all these stories that connect us. And so to me, that's the news. I'd rather hear all that than watch bad news on the 10 o'clock news.
Go ahead and go to banjo. You've got 10 minutes.
Oh, let's do one of each. You can't.
I'd rather do 2 banjos than do an encore.
Oh, okay. All right. We're going to get the banjo out, so I'm going to save the shakers for later.
Banjo wins. Save those shakers. She's a nationally famous shakerette.
Oh, yeah. I went to shakers.
Kazooist.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Hey, let's do another one of those songs.
So, 2? We got 2?
Yeah.
All right. So we are going to do 2 more songs. We're going to end up with 2 songs with the banjo and the guitar. And some people ask me, I don't know if you can see this on the camera, what kind of guitar this is that I'm playing. It's a handmade guitar made by Charles Hoffman in Minneapolis, Hoffman Guitars.
There's this incredible renaissance of lutherie that happened in the early 70s, and a lot of people just started making some cool guitars, and he was our major luminary, I think, around here.
Man, this is a wonderful guitar. Besides just the beautiful inlay, it's just a wonderful sounding guitar. I like little guitars.
Yes, we've gotten the banjo out. The end is near. Always try resetting the cable first.
Well, okay, so
All right.
what are we going to do, Curtis?
We, in our youth, did the Renaissance Festival circuit for a while. We did several of them all around the country. And we gave it up, I don't know, it must be 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
I looked at my buddies that had been there for 35 years, and I looked at myself in the mirror and said, man, I just don't look nearly as good in leotards as I used to, you know.
Me either.
Yeah. Oh, you do go. But we, you know, it's hard work doing those things, long days and hard work for pretty sharp pay. But there are special moments. And I just remember meeting this totally in love young couple came up and kind of followed us around to half our shows, almost embarrassing, sitting there playing on this rock or that rock or under that tree. But as the years passed by, we got to know them. They became musicians. They have a couple of great bands. They're wonderful. We had heard they had kids. You know, this is like years after we first met them.
Yeah, we didn't know too much
But
about it.
you know, people do that.
But I was on Facebook late one night and read a post from the mom, from Sherry, saying, it's 3 a.m. I've been up all night with the kids, and now I'm frying bacon. And the next night it was the dad. Chuck was up all night. And every night they were up all night with the kids. And I finally talked to them. I said, what's going on over there? And I came to find out that the 2 oldest ones, Clara and Rowan, are in the severe end of the autism spectrum. They don't speak. And the younger one, Mary, is neurotypical. And so I said, man, I'd like to spend some time with you and just see how you deal with that. It just intrigued me. And we went to the Minnesota Zoo and McDonald's, and I just watched them. And there were a lot of temper tantrums, meltdowns, all kind of crazy stuff going on. And no matter what happened, Chuck and Sherry, the mom and dad, were so calm and patient. They just knew how to handle it. And
these guys are just some of the
love.
happiest people I ever met.
I know. It's amazing to me.
And we knew them while they were raising these kids, and we didn't know they had these kids, and you know, we just never saw a sign of it.
Yeah. So
she asked if she could write this song, and
and Chuck, the dad, said, well, if it's a happy song, because we are a happy family, so we don't want a sad song. So I wrote this, and it's approved by Chuck and Sherry Loretta. And they actually played on the CD with us. They played on their song. They played mandolin and penny whistle.
This is called What Each One Needs.
12 years old, she's their first girl. They thought she lived in the world, but she dances on the spectrum where Clara's a fairy princess air. She hands a camera to her mom, puts a great big smile on. She speaks no words, but Mama knows she must capture this pose. 24/7 takes its toll, but Mom and Dad love these souls. Up all night if tantrums flow, a sensory overload. They see what each one needs, they teach where each path leads. Their joy is plain to see when they see the kids happy. Rocks a spectrum in his world. He twirls a string of shiny beads, climbs the fence at lightning speed. He taps his dad right on the chest, never speaks but can request. Dad lifts him on his shoulders high. They watch the world go by. 24/7 takes his toll, but Mom and Dad love these souls. Up all night if tantrums flow, a sensory overload. What each one needs, they teach where each path leads. Their joy is plain to see when they see the kids happy. musical chime when Clara runs too far afield. She follows, speaks to her softly. Rowan dives under a couch and grabs Mary by the hand. They share this little secret space. Their smiles light up the place. 24/7 takes its toll, but Mom and Dad love these souls. Up all night if tantrums flow, a sensory overload. They see what each one needs, they teach where each path leads. Their joy is plain to see when they see their kids happy. 24/7 takes its toll, but Mom and Dad love these souls. Up all night if tantrums flow, a sensory overload. They see what each one needs, they teach where each path leads. Their joy is plain to see when they see their kids happy. The Loretta family, Chuck and Sherry and the kids, and they have a band called Singleton Street.
Right.
Go do some great bluegrass, gospel music, and all kinds of stuff.
All right, we're going to end up the show with an old-timey call and answer song, so you guys can sing along. Just do what Loretta does. That's my motto in life, of course.
But I'm answering you, so we're really just doing what you're doing.
Well,
We're all
but you
following
do
him.
it last.
I don't know, but follow him. This is an old song from the late 1800s. It had a revival in the 30s or 40s. My mom had the sheet music to this.
But this is, like many old American ballads, it deals with questionable issues. I'll just warn you. But a lot of these old ballads do it for a very good reason, to funnel to the end of the song where a great moral lesson can be passed on. And I think I like this lesson because I think this, even today, this is a lesson that at least half of the people in the United States will agree with. I should have listened to what my mama said.
Yes, you should have, Curtis.
I'm like this guy. It took me a while to figure that out.
Yeah, so help us sing on this.
Yes, help us sing, and we thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We'll
Thank you so much to Two Way
See you
Street.
down the trail live in a building someday. Yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
thank you so much, everybody. We look forward to seeing you again live. And thank you so much tonight to John, our MC, Tim, the sound guy, and also Joel and Jennifer, who are in the background somewhere, I'm told, doing social media stuff, which is very
And
cool.
all the fine people that, help Two Way Street keep going, and really, and to all the people all over the country that allow for this to happen.
So thank you. We'll end up with this one. Thank you.
Hand me down my walking cane. Now hand me down my walking cane.
My walking cane.
Hand me down
Hand me down
my walking cane.
my walking cane.
Well, hand me down my walking cane. I'm gonna ride that midnight train. All my sins are taken away. Now hand me down
Hand me down
that jug of corn.
that jug of corn.
Hand me down
Hand me down
that jug of corn.
that jug of corn.
Well, hand me down that jug of corn. We'll have a time, sure as you're born. All my sins are taken away. I had too much,
Had too much
and I went to jail.
and I went to jail.
Well, I had too much,
Well, I had too much
and I went to jail.
and I went to jail.
Well, I had too much and I went to jail, and nobody came to go my bail. All my sins are taken away. Well, the beans was
The
hard,
beans was hard
and the meat was fat.
and the meat was fat.
Well, the beans was hard,
Those beans was hard
and the meat was fat.
and the meat was fat.
Well, the beans was hard and the meat was fat. Lord, I couldn't eat nothing like that. All my sins are taken away. Well, I wish I'd listen.
I wish I'd listen.
What my mama said.
What Mama said.
Well, if I listen.
If I listen.
What mama said.
What Mama said.
Well, if I listen what mama said, I'd be sleeping in a feather bed. All my sins are taken away. Everybody now. Well, hand me down.
Hand me down.
My walking cane.
My walking cane.
Hand me down.
Hand me down.
My walking cane.
My walking cane.
Well, hand me down my walking cane. I'm gonna ride that midnight train. All my sins are taken away. There they go. All my sins are taken away. Thank you.
Yeehaw.
Hey, I'm back. They've got to get their ears on there, otherwise they
I
can't
got mine
hear
on.
me. They're,
I can
Oh,
hear
good,
you.
oh, good.
Curtis is working on
oh,
it.
great. I'll just yell a little bit louder because you're not that far away. Only Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't know. It's about a 7 or 8 hour drive.
Yeah, I don't think my voice is that strong. So I've been sitting here trying to figure out if it would be insulting for you to go nah 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 nah. I love that song. I love
What?
that song.
It's fun.
We
a lot
had
of
to
people
put
love to sing
a
along.
warning on that album for that song for people that like to sing along while they're driving on the freeway.
Yeah, maybe not on the freeway.
Yeah.
That could get you in trouble.
I've heard many of these songs you sung tonight and enjoyed every one of them yet again tonight. So
Thank you. Yeah, I think
yeah.
we were live at Two-Way Street. I think like a couple months before the pandemic began. I believe
Good,
January 2020. I think we were there live.
I was probably there.
We probably saw you.
Yeah, I was
And
probably
who-
there almost every Friday night.
Yep.
But anyway, speaking of Friday night, next week we've got kind of a little bit of an experiment going. We booked a group called Charm of Finches, but they are coming to us from the fine country of Australia.
Wow.
You know, due to the fact that we are virtual, we can have just about everybody and anybody. We've had, England, Scotland, West Coast, East Coast. We even had, when we were talking earlier, we had a lady who was in the listening audience from Switzerland. And you got to wonder, Switzerland, huh? That's kind of out of our immediate area. But at any rate,
cool.
they will be with us next week. It's a duo, two ladies, and their music sounds just beautiful. And of course, if you found, Curtis and Loretta, you know how to find us again. You go to the twowaystreet.org and click on the arrow, and you'll hear the Charm of Finches. So you can't say that you haven't had some diversity here on the Two-Way Street Coffee House.
Wow. Cool.
We are not open to the public yet, but I say we're getting closer every day. If you paid attention to the little video in the front end, you may have seen one called a grand reopening on September 10th. So that's the date we've set so far. Like I say, God willing. But, as we get closer and closer, we are working hard at making that happen. Also, a big shout out to Tim Kendall. You've heard about him. He's the man behind the curtain making all this happen. I'm the front man. Tim's the brains of the outfit. And he does just a wonderful job.
Absolutely.
Keeping us going. And I guess I got to say this, I enjoyed just your wonderful music, but nobody gets out of the coffee house without an encore. So if you guys could do one more, and then you'll end the broadcast by saying, good night. Okay?
Sounds good. We would love to.
Thank you so much.
Take it away again.
Thank
All
you,
right.
John. Thanks.
Well, we got to do one on the ukulele. I love ukuleles. And so we'll do this. Now, this is not only a sing-along. Oops, I'm going to take my ears
Oh,
off.
yeah. Then we can hear each other. If we
This
take
is a
these off.
smile along as well. And I know wearing a mask has been quite inconvenient. I mean, we've done, shows. It's hard to sing through a mask, but in a lot of ways, I found it to be an interesting experience. I mean, this is a smile along, and I learned a lot, about, how much I really, how much, emotion you really gather in from other people from their eyes. You can tell when a person's smiling just as quick, with a mask on as you can without. And of course, for me, just every day, it's like I've always kind of been a proponent of less face is better anyway.
Curtis has had the beard ever since I've known him for 44 years. I've never seen him without a beard.
So mask or not, you can always smile. And those surgeons, the only reason they wear those masks is just to look cool.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
True.
Yeah. So we'll end up with this one. And thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in tonight.
Give us a big smile before we start on 3. Ready? The biggest one you ever did. 1. Everybody. 2, 3.
Help us out on this. Sing along. Keep on smiling, everybody.
Everybody smile. See you later.